Happy Friday. Welcome to another episode of the By Word Show. I'm so glad you're here. And today I just thought it'd be fun to sit down and do kind of a chatty show because I wanted to do an update on something really exciting that's happened. And a lot of you have asked questions about it. So I just figured I'd tell you about how Jude, my son, and I got to model for Aerie, which was truly one of the craziest things of my whole life. But it was such a fun and special experience. And so I thought I would just tell you a little bit about it because I thought it was really cool. So last summer, I was just shopping online on Aerie, and I saw that they were doing this contest for Aerie Real Voices, this campaign they're doing. And you basically just submit a video of yourself telling your story and why you're Aerie Real and all of that. And so I submitted a video saying, hey, my name's Hannah Hughes. I share my story. I help other people tell their story. Like I have a podcast and all this stuff. That's basically it.
Hi, my name is Hannah Hughes. I'm 26 years old. I'm a mom to an almost 2-year-old and a podcaster. And I'm just really passionate about helping women find and use their voice because as someone who experienced sexual abuse in the past and feeling like my voice didn't hold any weight or any power, I've come through this journey of healing and really discovered that I do have a voice, I do have a story to tell, and it can help so many other women who are experiencing the same kinds of things. So I'm really passionate now about helping women understand that they have something to say, they have something so powerful and purposeful to share with the world. And so that's what I have devoted my life to doing now. And I'm really excited that you guys are doing this campaign about helping women use their voices.
And then I forgot about it. And so for the next few months, life was crazy. If you were around last year, you've heard me talk about it. Jude, my son, was sick for a long time, and we were in and out of different doctors and hospitals and testing and like all of these things. It was just crazy. And then I had a miscarriage, and it was just one thing after another. It was just a crazy year. And I was honestly feeling so discouraged. I had decided to take a break from the podcast. I had just, we were going through a lot of transitions and jobs and just life in general. It was just kind of crazy at the time. And so when December rolled around, I was at a pretty low place, just feeling like, what's the point? Like, why am I doing this podcast? Why am I spending so much effort on these jobs? Why am I doing all of these crazy things? I just feel tired. I feel like I'm not really going anywhere in any of these projects that I'm working on. Like, is it worth it? Like, does it even matter what I'm doing? And all of these things, just kind of like this really dramatic identity crisis. I really was going through a lot though. And so it was just this really intense time of like, does it even matter? Am I doing the right thing? Should I keep doing this? Like, should I pick up the podcast again? And in December, I got an email saying that I won the Aerie contest and I was chosen to be a part of their campaign. And it was the most surreal thing for me. But a big piece of it for me was just a really timely, felt like kind of a nudge from God, reminding me that I was still where I needed to be. And that my voice and my story does still matter, which is kind of silly because, like my whole thing with By Words, which if you've been here, it's all about embracing our stories and discovering purpose in the process and all of these things. And it was honestly just this really interesting opportunity, like this undeniable opportunity for me to really practice what I preach and believe what I've been saying to other people all along. And it's just this idea that your story does matter. Like even in the hard parts, we still have purpose and we can just embrace our stories along the way and then trust God that He will just work it all out for good. Like He can use everything for good. And so when I got that email, I was like, what in the world? This is crazy because, I've been a part of some really cool things before and like I've modeled for things before, but what was really special and crazy about this particular circumstance was that I was chosen not because of my body, not because of my looks, but because of my story. And that was really encouraging to me because, like I said, it just felt like this reminder from God that this is why I've chosen you for this. This is how you're making an impact. Like it matters what you're doing. Don't give up kind of thing. And so I just couldn't believe it. It was just seriously the craziest thing ever. So that was in December. And then January rolled around and we're prepping for it. And they're telling us they're going to give us all the details as it gets closer. And they ended up telling us that a couple of the other people who won were also moms. And so they decided that we were going to do this Mother's Day campaign. And I thought that was so crazy because I was going to get to model with Jude. They were already going to fly Christopher and me out. And now they were also going to include Jude, which was really special because then we got to do it as a family. And so we get there in March, which was when the shoot was. And it was so much fun. We got there and they drove us to the hotel, which was right next to the American Eagle headquarters building. And we went and upstairs, they have this little studio space in there, and we just shot. And it was so fun for me to get to know some of the other girls that were there who are Aerie ambassadors, and just like embracing their stories and really using their platforms to encourage other women. And it was just so special and so refreshing for me to have that experience. And I know that's a crazy, like major, huge experience, but to me, it really felt like God was right there in the details. And it was just this really, like I said, undeniable thing that God was a part of. And it was just such a deeper experience for me because of that. And I think walking away from that, it just really encouraged me and reminded me why it matters to share our stories and why it matters to keep doing what we're doing through the By Word show, which is just being real, being authentic, and just, being okay with figuring it out as we go. And so that was like my major takeaway from that. It was really cool just having that experience because, obviously it was Aerie, and I love everything that they stand for in their clothes and even the way that they're moving towards more sustainable fashion. But it was just special to have my family be a part of that. And yeah, wow, there's just so much to it that I could say. But the reason I wanted to share this is because I was really at a point of doubting myself and doubting God and my story and like, what's the point of this? And if you're in that place, I just want to encourage you that God's not done yet, that there's still good things coming. There's still big things coming. There's still purpose in your story, and he is going to use every piece that you allow him to. And that's a major lesson that I've learned in these past few months of my life, is just not giving into the lie that the best days are behind us. There's still so much good coming. There are still so many purposeful things, and just that God is doing right here in the middle of whatever that in-between space looks like. Because at least for me, I sometimes feel like I am right here, right? And I want to be there. And sometimes I forget that the middle part of that process, like the middle ground, is where the best stuff happens. And that's like where God does his deepest and richest work in us, is on the way to where we're going. But I sometimes forget that, and I just focus on getting there, and I want to rush through the process. And it's so crazy. I actually was having a conversation with my pastor about this a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about how so many people, and millennials especially, in the world we live in, where it's just all about getting there and being successful and, like having all the followers, or like having the platform, doing all the major big things and the milestone things. Everybody wants that. And so many people are not willing to commit to the process, which is where we develop the character we need to actually be able to sustain the calling and the things that we are purposed to do. You know what I mean? And so I think for me, I've been thinking about that a lot, and really wanting to do better about committing to being right here, committing to being in the process. I was having a conversation with a friend about this a couple weeks ago too. And I was telling her, I don't like committing to the process. I don't like going through all of the refining. Like, who does, right? We all want it, and we ask for it, and we pray for it. And then it happens, and we're like, I'm good. I think I've got enough testimonies. I think I've had enough character building. And my friend was saying, like, there's got to be a diamond in there. I think I'm shiny enough. So I think about that now, and I'm just like, man, it is so hard when you're in it, but it is so worth it when you get to the other side of it and you're prepared for what you're called to do. You know what I mean? Like, there's just no other way around it, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Like, if we trust God with our story and our lives and our purpose, then we also have to trust him in the process, because that is where he molds us into the person that we need to be in order to accomplish all the things that we feel like we're called to do and the dreams that he's put in our hearts. And anyway, I know that I started talking about an Aerie shoot and I got here, but this is the reason I wanted to bring it up, because it's something that I've been thinking a lot about lately and something that I'm just personally learning. And so I wanted to share it with you in case you're in that spot, because I know it is so hard to be in the in-between places where you're just ready to get there and you're ready to be done with the character building phase. But don't give up. Don't lose hope. I just want to encourage you today that there are still so many good things coming. And just because it may be hard right now and it may not make sense right now, and you may not even be able to see it right now, you may not even know what's coming or have something to look forward to, but don't give up hope, because God is doing something so good in you and he is not going to waste a single step of the process. So just trust him. Just hold on. There's so many good things coming. And I hope that fills you with hope and encouragement today. Yeah, that's pretty much all that was on my heart, but I wanted to share about that because I know a lot of people have been asking. And to me, like I said, it's been just such a deeper process. And so I love being able to share with you guys along the way what I'm learning. I said this a couple episodes ago when I was doing my honest update, but I've just realized, I've come to this place of realizing that there's so much power in sharing in those in-between places before we have it all figured out, because that's where we all are living. I mean, most of us are in the in-between places at any given point. So I don't feel afraid to share from those places anymore. And I hope that gives you hope as well, because there's just as much purpose and meaning in the in-between as there is in getting there and doing the big stuff. So that's all I've got for you today, friend. I hope that encourages you. I hope that you have an amazing weekend. Know that I am cheering you on, and I cannot wait to talk to you again soon.
As I become a mom, my style is definitely a lot more comfortable, a lot more laid back.
I love wearing dresses now and bike shorts with like crop tops.
But I also feel a need to dress in a way that is functional so that I can embrace every aspect of motherhood.
Just something that helps me get to going with the kids, because it gets pretty hectic out here.
It doesn't have to be what you wore before you had a baby or what everybody thinks you should wear after. It's what makes you feel comfortable.
The advice that I would give to a new mom is to allow motherhood to change everything about themselves.
Don't put pressure on yourself to get it perfect all the time.
We always wait for validation from others, but honestly, it comes from you first. If you love yourself first as is,
Everybody else is just gonna have to deal with it.
I've just come to this place of really embracing where I'm at and being present in the process, because that's where I found a lot of hope and healing and purpose.
and I started liking myself more,
If I'm being my true, authentic self, I'm happy, and that's all that matters.
If I could change anything, I wouldn't. I'm just happy to be here.
We are Aerie Real! Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to tune into another episode of the Byword Show. I love having you here, and I'm so thankful for your support. Don't forget to share a screenshot of this episode to let me know you were here. I can't wait to talk again soon, but in the meantime, be sure to come hang out with me on Instagram, and remember, I am cheering you on.